Welcome to the Daily Drop on Pro Ball Daily. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tara. And we are coming at you hot today, Mike, because after what we saw go down in the NBA last night, I think we have to start there. I mean, did anyone else just get absolutely blindsided by that Pistons performance?
Blindsided, Tara? I think I'm still picking my jaw up off the floor. A 38-point demolition of the Brooklyn Nets? The Detroit Pistons, the team that was, let's be honest, pretty much written off for dead, just served up a masterclass. They went 138-100 against a Nets team that looked utterly bewildered. This isn't just a win, this is a statement. And it's not even a fluke when you look at the trends.
Exactly. We're talking about a Pistons squad that's been on an absolute tear in February, hitting 82% of their games, which is a mind-blowing 15.2 points above their season baseline. Meanwhile, the Nets are just spiraling, down 11.1% from their baseline, winning a measly 17% of their games in February. This isn't just one bad night for Brooklyn. It's a trend, Mike. They are officially in free fall.
Free fall is an understatement. What happened to the Nets? I mean, just a few weeks ago, we were talking about them potentially making a push for a play-in spot. And now they're just getting embarrassed. You have to wonder about the coaching, about the locker room, about the sheer will of that team. To lose by 38 points to a surging but still rebuilding Pistons team, that's just unacceptable for any professional squad.
Totally unacceptable. And on the flip side, the Pistons, man, they're playing with house money and just letting it fly. They're loose, they're energetic, and you can see the confidence growing with every win. This is how you build a culture, right? You get a young team to believe, especially when everyone else counts them out. Forget the tanking narrative. Detroit is out here hooping.
They really are. And speaking of teams that are surprising us, we also saw the Atlanta Hawks take down the Dallas Mavericks 124-112. Now, Atlanta's trend for February is actually down 12.1% from their season baseline, winning only 55% of their games. But they showed up big against Luka and the Mavs. Is this a sign they're trying to pull out of their slump, or just a one-off against a struggling Mavs defense?
That's a great question, Mike. The Hawks have been a frustrating team to watch. They have moments of brilliance, like that win against Dallas, where their offense just clicks and they look like world beaters. But then they have these stretches where they look utterly lost. I think that win against Dallas is more of a spark, a reminder of what they can be, rather than a definitive turnaround. They need to string a few of those together before I'm buying stock in Atlanta. But credit where credit's due. Beating the Mavs is no small feat.
No, it's not. And let's quickly touch on some other NBA action. The Chicago Bulls beat the Golden State Warriors 130-124 in a high-scoring affair. Over in LA, the Lakers defeated the Timberwolves 120-106. The Timberwolves have been so good this season, but the Lakers, especially at home, are finding ways to get wins. And then Houston took down Toronto 113-99. But really, the story of the night, heck, the story of the month in the NBA is those Detroit Pistons. What does this mean for them in the long run, Tara? Are we looking at a genuine playoff contender next season if they keep this momentum?
I think it's too early to call them a contender, Mike. But what we are seeing is a foundation being laid. They're developing their young talent, they're getting consistent effort, and they're proving they can compete. If they can build on this momentum, maybe add a key piece or two in the offseason, they could definitely be a dark horse for a play-in spot next year. They've certainly earned a lot of new fans and respect with this February surge. It's exhilarating to watch.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on, let's glance at the NBA Power Index Top 5. San Antonio Spurs still at number 1 with 83.6 points, followed by the OKC Thunder at 70.6. Phoenix Suns, Charlotte Hornets, who dropped just a hair, and the LA Clippers round out the top 5. Interesting to see the Spurs holding strong at the top, just quietly dominating.
They really are. They don't always grab the headlines with the flashy wins, but they are consistently getting it done. Popovich just works his magic year after year. Let's pivot to the ice, shall we? Because the NHL also gave us some intense action and a few surprises, though maybe not as earth-shattering as the Pistons.
The NHL had some tight contests last night, that's for sure. We saw the Boston Bruins edge out the LA Kings 2-1, and the Vegas Golden Knights fall to the Dallas Stars, also 2-1. But the big stat in the NHL for me has to be the Boston Bruins. They posted a scorching 91% win rate in January, blowing past their season baseline by over 20%. That is just incredible consistency.
It really is, Mike. The Bruins were an absolute wagon in January. To be that far above your baseline means they were just unstoppable, finding ways to win every single night. That kind of run can completely change the trajectory of a season, give a team so much confidence.
Absolutely. And speaking of confidence, the Buffalo Sabres, our number one team in the NHL Power Index with 80.2 points, did what they were supposed to do, beating the San Jose Sharks 6-3. That's a good sign for a top-ranked team, proving they can handle business.
It is. But you know what's really interesting when you look at the NHL Power Index and then the trends? The Ottawa Senators are sitting pretty at number 5 in the Power Index with 68.1 points, which suggests they're a strong team overall. Yet their trend for January saw them winning only 36% of their games, a whopping 16 points below their season baseline. How do you reconcile that, Mike? Are they overrated in the Power Index or just experiencing a really rough patch that they're expected to bounce back from?
That's a fantastic point, Tara, and it's a conundrum. When you see that kind of discrepancy, it usually means one of two things. Either the Power Index is factoring in a strong roster and past performance that isn't currently translating to wins, or they're undergoing a severe slump that everyone expects them to pull out of because the underlying talent is there. My gut says it's the latter. Ottawa has the pieces, they just haven't been able to put it all together recently. They're like a high-performance engine that's misfiring. If they don't fix it soon, that Power Index ranking is going to plummet. It simply has to.
I agree. You can only coast on potential for so long. Meanwhile, we also saw the Carolina Hurricanes, number 3 in the Power Index, win a tight one against the Penguins, 5-4, and the Edmonton Oilers beat the Colorado Avalanche, 4-3. Now, the Avalanche also saw a significant dip in January, winning only 56% of their games, 11.1% below their baseline. So, two teams in the top 5 of the Power Index, Colorado and Ottawa, are showing concerning downward trends. This makes me wonder about the stability of that top tier in the NHL.
It absolutely does. The parity in the NHL is legendary, and these trends suggest that even the top teams are not immune to significant slumps. The Wild also had a rough January, 44% wins, down 10.6% from their baseline. It makes you appreciate that Bruins run even more, doesn't it? To be that consistent in such a competitive league is truly remarkable.
It really does. All right, let's shift gears to baseball. We had some MLB action yesterday, and the San Francisco Giants are still holding strong at number 1 in the Power Index with 70.7 points. Their dominance continues, which is what you want to see from your top-ranked team.
They certainly backed it up with a 5-4 win over the Cleveland Guardians. But the real story in MLB for me has to be the Oakland Athletics. They beat the Chicago White Sox 11-7, and our stat of the day highlights Brent Rooker's dominating 71.5 MLB rating in that victory, and it makes perfect sense when you look at their trends.
It does. The Athletics with 64% in March, which is a fantastic 10.3% above their season baseline. So this isn't just one good game. They're genuinely on an upward swing. That's a great narrative, especially for a team that often gets overlooked. Rooker stepping up and their team performing so well above expectations in March, that's exciting for their fans.
It absolutely is. And on the flip side, we had the Cincinnati Reds beat the Colorado Rockies 8-1, a pretty convincing win. However, the Reds' trend for March is also down, 44% win rate, 12.7% below their season baseline. So similar to the Hawks in the NBA, is this win against Colorado a blip or a sign they might be turning things around after a tough month?
I'm leaning towards a blip right now, Mike. One dominant win doesn't erase a month of underperformance. The Rockies aren't exactly world beaters, and sometimes you just have a good day at the plate. For the Reds to truly show they're out of that slump, they need to string together a few wins against tougher competition. They clearly have the potential to score, as evidenced by that 8-run outing, but consistency is key.
Agreed. Consistency is always the challenge. Other scores from MLB, the Detroit Tigers beat the Boston Red Sox 7-2, and the Houston Astros narrowly defeated the Baltimore Orioles 6-6. The Astros are holding strong at number 4 in our Power Index, so a close win against the decent Orioles team shows they're still grinding out results.
They are. Speaking of grind, let's talk some college hoops. The NCAAB had just one game on our radar today, but it was a big one. Gonzaga defeated Santa Clara 79-68. Gonzaga, a perennial powerhouse, proving why they're always in the conversation.
Absolutely. And our NCAAB Power Index Top 5 still has the Duke Blue Devils leading the pack with 83.7 points, followed by the Michigan Wolverines, George Mason Patriots, Miami OH Redhawks, and the Arizona Wildcats. Strong contenders there, but Gonzaga always lurks.
Always. Now, a quick note on the beautiful game. We didn't have any La Liga, EPL, or MLS games on the schedule today, so the soccer world got a little breather. Barcelona leads the La Liga Power Index, Wolves are top in the EPL, and NYCFC are holding strong in the MLS. No action, but the standings are still set.
All right, Tara, you know what that means. We've covered all the big stories, the surprising stats, the incredible trends. For me, the single biggest takeaway from today has to be the utter dominance of the Detroit Pistons and the sheer chaos they've introduced into the NBA narrative. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder, and it's making for incredible television.
I couldn't agree more, Mike. The Pistons are the story, hands down. But looking ahead, I'm keeping my eyes squarely on those NHL teams that are showing declining trends in the power index. The Ottawa Senators and Colorado Avalanche. Tomorrow could be huge for them. Do they bounce back and prove the power index right? Or do they continue to slide and show those trends are more than just a blip? Their next few games could define their seasons.
That's your Daily Drop for today. For scores, rankings, and everything in between, head to ProBallDaily.com. We'll see you tomorrow.